Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, the 12th of December, 2022, and it was a very interesting weekend, to say the least. So there's been a lot of stuff going. Sorry, my cat just was trying to play with the dogs. She's very brave. She was just literally running up after Smokey and trying to play with his bum and his tail. Anyway, it was cute. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so Elon Musk posted on Twitter over the weekend about prosecuting and or investigating Fauci, and the left had a total meltdown on all forms of social media and their private lives and everything, and it was glorious to watch. Like it's good to see, and I hate to say that, but it's good to see things on the other side now. Just finally being exposed, and there's been a lot more information that isn't being censored now on Twitter, especially, but other forms of social media as well that are also being impacted, and then people that were censored and or deleted, like their accounts deleted, they're now back up and running, and so we're getting a lot more again of the truth out there, and the top trending topics over the weekend as well was that it was not great regarding Justin Trudeau, and he was even called like a psychopath, and that was trending. And if you look at the amount of people, or posts and retweets about these trending events, there's a significant amount of out there now, more that are swaying towards people not being in support of this government and the leadership and the people that have been implementing ridiculous mandates and therapeutics. So it's actually been a lot more people than what we were shown, and a lot of the bots now too that are on all forms of social media, but especially on Twitter, they are also being deactivated and removed and things like that. And so these are all very significant things because why does that matter? It's because there's a lot of people that have money. You don't need a lot of money either, but that can buy bots or promote their tweets and their posts, and which completely changes the algorithms and gives people these reinforced bias, these reality tunnels where they're getting fed information that's not true, or there's a lot of misinformation in it, but they're getting it from what look like reputable accounts or sources, and in fact not. And excuse me. Just like, yeah, no, I won't go there. I'll wait. But yeah, total meltdown. And there was even an astronaut named Scott something or other that was trying to call Elon Musk out. And it was just like, okay, first of all, like, who are you? And you are literally someone that's an astronaut, right? And you are someone that is likely like a Freemason or part of an occult group, and or don't know the reality of what's going on, and just like not high up in the food chain enough to know what's going on. And don't know the reality of NASA and space, but like the likelihood, I don't know how likely it is that astronauts don't know that they're just faking missions all over the place, and using green room effects and harnesses. And there's been a lot of glitches and water bubbles and stuff like that are being caught more and more, and just the very obvious zooming out of missions once. Anyway, like when we're supposed to see critical movement towards certain luminaries, right? Like the moon, and seeing the trajectory going down instead of up and onward, and they're even talking about meteorites that are going to be more prominent in mid-December, so I guess technically around now in the next few days. But again, I don't bite or believe this stuff. And there are things that are being projected in the sky and reflected on the sky, and this is stuff that's been happening throughout time, and again, I'm being led to believe that we've been more advanced ancient civilizations for many thousands of years, and it's not something where we've just evolved in the last few hundred years, and we completely dismiss any science and engineering, or astronomy or mathematics that predate the 1700s, when we have the greats that predate the scientific pseudoscience revolution, and were incredibly brilliant and well-rounded. They were well-read. They were very, very fit, and I find that is also important because health also helps access your higher levels of awareness and consciousness, and your ability to be there for other people and yourself is better when you're healthier. like even just like with cleaning or with doing groceries or walking dogs or whatever. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so this guy that's completely fake and he's a sellout to all of his to his country and the world, like as an astronaut or an actornaut, as the Trailer Park Boys like to call them, like trying to call out someone that's trying to call out someone that has caused the death of millions of people throughout the world and animals, and has been doing this for decades, and is part of an occult group that has been using and profiting from like therapeutics, and which cause harm, right? And the placebo effect is a lot more profound, and natural remedies are a lot more profound, and fasting and being more in tune with the luminaries and frequencies and vibrations. These are all profoundly more important than these therapeutics. And SIDS is directly correlated to vaccines in children, and this is why, like I was saying even like over a year ago, that they're going to call this SADS. And then they, sure enough, they started doing it, and it went from being like a pandemic of the vaccinated to the pandemic of the unvaccinated, like throughout like different cycles as well, right? And yeah, so like this that they're talking now about like a new tabletop like training plan that was just implemented or done just last month, which is terrifying because it was talking again, which they've been talking about for years, about a new, more lethal virus that would be exposed to the world, and how this would be something that would impact the like children and young adults, young people, more so than the remainder of the population. And again, just like I was saying last year, once they started inoculating children here, and then I said, you know what, within a week there's going to be a new variant, and that's going to be to cover up vaccine injuries. And I have proof on Signal and Telegram and witnesses that I was saying this. And then sure enough, like the Omicron variant came out, which is an acronym for moronic, by the way. And they play with us with words too. So even Anus Mundi and anus, and like anyway, I could go on a list even with shit with the Catholic Church. And where was I going with this? Oh yeah, and so now that like, and I've showed the mRNA studies from even like the last few years, and how they were saying that there's like a significant increase or a significant impact of like to people in this group, in these groups where and these are young healthy adults, were suffering from heart attacks and death between within like 11.4 and 26.4 or whatever it was of the of that population, right? And this is alarming, and this is what, like I was saying also, that like we need to look at, like we need to wait within a 2-year period minimum, because of the original trials that came out, that I've shared, which is on almost every single one of my description boxes and all my videos here, and which were also on my YouTube videos for the last few years as well. So there's no excuse for not saying that you didn't have this information, because I've also shared it on my social media repeatedly as well, and so have many other reputable people. So it's just that people are not looking for the information; they're just willfully ignorant. No offense. And trying to justify inoculating people when there was a 99.9% survivability rate in the population, and a lot more adverse reactions and harm and side effects and like for decades because of doing this. And so we're getting like more children and people dying suddenly, and this, we're not even at the 2-year mark. We're close to it actually this month. Like you know, it's going to be like the start of like where we like mass inoculated people are started to with the first responder groups throughout the world, even in Canada. and so there's going to be more coming out, and so this is why it doesn't surprise me that in the next couple of years they're going to have to come up with a new virus or something, or variant, to cover up these things so that they can justify it, right? Because no one is biting like the sudden adult death or arrhythmic death, or you know, or just not being able to identify what these increases in deaths are within these certain demographics, and children in Canada dying as well suddenly, and because of heart issues, like even over the weekend. And it's, I don't share this stuff on my social media, because every once in a while I do, but like it's like I don't want people to think that I'm like, this is like a negative channel. like but even when I talk, right, like I'm fairly intense, just because I have a lot of information about the world and about future events. And yeah, and so far, like, people are still not listening. And it blows my mind, and I'm being called a conspiracy theorist and all these other things, when it's just like when people that I believe are the conspiracy theorists are the ones that are calling me this, and people that believing that the Earth is a globe and that we've gone to the moon, and I've shared information to refute like these arguments, and how like even people like Buzz Aldrin has admitted it as well, and people like, please start looking at this stuff, and the more we call this stuff out, again, like the more we as humans, we are innately truth seekers, and like the way we observe and feel and experience the world, it would make a lot more sense once we start getting like this, like the confirmation that we're not nuts, right? Like I don't feel like I feel like I'm on a stationary plane and that I'm not being pulled or like by gravity or being spun around. And the constellations, how perfectly they are, how perfectly they move, and the sun and the moon like also leads me to believe that like we're not spinning in space, you know what I mean? And like because like that would be impossible. There's just so many things that like are so odd. Like I just sorry, I get like heart rate up and stuff like that because like I say things, and which should blow the whole, like, or at least make people question more things, and instead, I don't know, they don't. It is what it is. But Next Level is a really good documentary that is still somehow like online, and I highly encourage and recommend people take a look at that and get on an uncensored browser and a VPN like Proton Plus with an upgraded package, and try to go on browsers that are more secure. They're never going to be perfect, you know what I mean? But Brave and DuckDuckGo are better than Chrome, like a basic Google, you know, web browser, and then clear your history and your cookies often, so that they're not getting like enough of a. Don't be so predictive in your behavior, just like with your social media, like them with like tagging the same things all the time and posting the same things. It's always like the same similar like things. Then it's very predictive. And yeah, and we should like also stop putting people in these boxes or bubbles that they're not in, just because you assume that because they don't believe in one thing that automatically they believe in another thing, because that's also not true. My example to that is with politics. Like right now, like I don't think there's any party that like has a platform or leadership that's aware enough or strong enough to impact any real change, like on a national level, let alone international level. And I think that Pierre and Maxime Bernier come close, but they're still, especially Pierre, like still saying things or promoting things that lead me to believe that he may or may not be getting bad information from bad analysts or security people or analysts or actually I was going to get into this, but like yeah, I'll get into it. I just want to make sure that I get all my points first. Yeah, and the U.S. gave the green light to the Ukraine to attack Russia, and again, who are they to dictate or decide or whatever, like what another country does with its bordering neighbor that it seems to be playing with and eliciting and inciting a prolonged war, or a war that will escalate to a well, I believe it's already an international war because it's impacting the whole world. On so many different levels, even with soil production and with farming, and with like what's happening with Africa with food shortages and things like that, and yeah, there's just to name a few things. Okay, there was a COP15 meeting in Montreal just over the weekend or just late last week. Climate conference, and most of the people, like this was it was a small YouTube channel that was with an embedded journalist, not an embedded journalist, like an independent journalist that was sharing that was showing this conference and the people that were attending, and trying to get interviews, and a large majority of the people that were attending were not even Canadian, and they were the ones that were being interviewed. Most if not all of them, well, most of them were from China. And I'm not saying this to spark any animosity towards any countries or anything like that. I'm just saying facts that China and Chinese people, like even someone that was involved in academics. And first of all, if you think that the Earth is a globe, or that space, as we're being led to believe, is that you believe that, or if you believe in the theory of evolution as we're being taught and all this other stuff, then then again, like these academics, why aren't people hiring people like me, like to be part of these conferences instead of people that don't even live in this country and look at the country that they're coming from. Like, it's horrible. And I don't know if people knew this, but in Beijing, they had fake skies, like painted, like these huge billboards that were on the ground showing like that was blue skies and clouds. Like, they didn't get rid of the pollution, like they were telling people, like that was a lie. And it's still full of smog. There's still like over exhausting resources, and there's still a poverty. There's still people that are born into slavery and prisons, and there's still a lot of human trafficking, and they're still trying to unfudge what they've done with trying to control their population for decades, where we're just in 2015 they were able to have more than one kid. So there's like 70 or 100 million men that of family age groups between the ages of 18 and like 80, I don't know, like whatever you want to call it, like 60, that are living in cities and like in these like these larger apartment complexes in these small little rooms and stuff like that. And with that comes a lot of like, it's a poor quality of life, like not having a family. Like, these are all things that that we're supposed to be doing as the human species, like other species in the world. It's just so distracting. Like, it's not even 7:30 in the morning, and like there's whistles blasting. And it's a vehicle that I can hear is like not even moving yet again. And so this is what happens in the winter. I have video proof of Taggart destruction companies and these other companies where they're in vehicles that are 25 tons or more, like these cranes and these bulldozers, these large fuel vehicles, and they're parked for extended periods of time. They're not even in the vehicles. I even have the videos of that, where like their vehicles are parked super loud, like overwhelmingly loud, again, like here at all levels of people's homes, and like I was saying, this impacted my work, my school, my volunteering, like my sense of well-being in my own home. Like, there have been men that specifically have harassed me and targeted me outside of my home and recorded me, and I have proof of all this stuff, and no one has even called the head company to even try to get them to like stop that in the area on everyone's behalf, because it's not just me. Like I was saying, like there's a lot of first responder types here and veterans that I know personally, a few personally, that left because of all of this, and because it was just too overwhelming and chronic, and they never wanted to leave. And I lost my community people, here, like my like friends that I had, and I've had no one because of the lockdowns. Anyway, it is what it is, but. And so they're getting paid a lot of money to harass people needlessly, because it's not just me. Like I was saying, a lot of people are still working from home in this neighborhood in Stittsville. I'm in the Maple Grove area, and where they are, again, is a heritage site that was not supposed to be touched. And so this is also something that causes damage to cities when people start over exhausting like the resources and building up on areas like heritage sites or churches or wildlife preservation areas or parks and dumping resources there instead of using them and bringing in resources that cause more pollution. And like we're really not looking into the city planning as much as we should be, and how we're utilizing our electricity, and how we're setting things up and building things in general is just I just don't want Ottawa to end up like so many other places. Like Detroit's one small example, but like all over the world, there's been multiple examples of stuff like this happening, where entire cities have just been completely like wiped out because of stuff like this. And and unfortunately in Ottawa, which is the capital, we heavily impact what happens, like the policies that are implemented and regulations and rules, or like even like the narrative, like the mainstream narrative. It's all like heavily influenced and impacted through like within Ottawa in this area and surrounding areas. So even like the mayors and the district leaders in these areas and business owners, they had a huge part to play in exploiting this pandemic. And there were people, again, that weren't even from Canada. Like I've been saying, like even the heads of these companies are not from Canada, or nor do they live in Canada like for extended periods of time. They're just exploiting our land and pushing us out. And then again, part of climate conferences where they have no business being, no offense, and you're not the expert, you know what I mean? When there's actual Canadians that are open and willing to be part of these conferences and do have a lot that they can bring to the table. Like I've said, I know a lot of people that would be that would be great in multiple different like departments within government, and it's because I went to RMC, like I went to West Point on exchange, like I was in the special forces. I've been all over the world through my work, and then through also like a lot of travel as well, and then like Discovery Channel with Naked and Afraid, and all the like my obstacle course, you know, and adventure races that I've done. Like I've met a lot of people, and where was I going with that? I don't even know. But I do know that our leaders are far removed from what's going on and how to impact change, and not able to predict like any long-term forecasts. And so when I was looking at the Sendai, SENDAI framework for disaster risk reduction from 2015 to 2030, this is what was being pushed, this agenda, the Sendai framework, on an international level, including Canada. And I have a lot of concerns already just like looking through this. It's a long document. It's 100+ pages. And if people want it, just like reach out and give me your email address and I'll email it to you. Or you can just find it online and download it. But there's a lot of concerns that I have for this, and also how the people that are running this and controlling this stuff, like they care more about the like money and the economy than they do about human life. And I really, but again, I have recommendations to come with the points that I have on this framework as well. And this is the stuff that WEF and the UN and WHO and CDC, heads of like academic institutions, like heads of like destruction companies or real estate companies, like we need to start looking more into these people and cabinet, and because even Doug Ford, like I can't believe that he was able to make as much money as he did exploiting a pandemic with his decal business, and making us all like rats in a maze, and still like not like, how are these people still in office? So if there's any form of like Nuremberg 2.0 trials, just a second. Oh, sorry, Ranger. Oh, I left him outside again. Lucky he's a husky. No, I'm so sorry. You were out there for like 25 minutes. Yeah, baby. Where's going that? I get so distracted, like with like being with outside, like as well, and so, because I'm right outside my house, right, and that's what I hear, and so like I'm always like just like I hate my backyard now, which is unfortunate, because before they shredded all the trees and started doing that, like I was always out in my backyard, like meditating, working out, like breathing in the air, stretching, like enjoying my like reading, tanning, and it's been a long time, and I pay a lot of money for this house, and so there's no accountability for the needless noise as well, which is unfortunate, because these are grown-ass men that are doing it. and yeah. But the only reason why I'm like, the biggest reason I'm upset about this stuff again is because of the impact of all this stuff. They've been doing this all over the city and in extended areas, like even like as far as Calabogie, like beyond Calabogie, and this is why this is like upsetting, and not beneficial to Canadians, and it's because like I also know that if there's like I believe there to be a firmament above. And so, like, there's no space trash or garbage. There's no, like a lot of the stuff that we're doing to the planet, these top 100 companies, they're causing like 70 to 90% of the pollution in the world, and they're trying to blame and shame us for using what's available, you know, and when they're the ones that are providing us, right, with the resources and materials and products. That and with the excessive waste, right? So like, why are we like packaging up like fruits and vegetables that don't need to be, when they have a skin barrier that is good enough? Like and like even with like toothpaste, like how we like we're so redundant. Like even with the Amazon box packaging, like it's very wasteful, and so is the solution to just I don't know, like go without? Or would it be to like just like have people that are in jobs where they need to be responsible and more accountable for this stuff, being more accountable for this stuff, and mitigating like the harm that's done to the environment, and finding ways to balance it out, right? So if you do cause pollution, then also like using a lot of your money to make it where there's like a zero energy return or whatever you want to call it, where you're like planting trees in other areas and soil, and to make up for like the destruction that you've caused, right? So people like Taggart, like they have been shredding trees, not even using them for lumber, and these are trees that would be great for it, or needed for so many different reasons. And so like they would need to plant millions of trees, and that's not an exaggeration. They would actually literally have to plant millions of trees and let them grow for hundreds of years before like they can even come close to close to undoing like a bit of the damage that they've done, right? And this like has nothing to do with like the landfills that are being like overutilized, and like these waste areas, and yeah, anyway. So on that note, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.